I think James Dalton for the ABI did a really nice job in trying to acknowledge that insurers had really been complicit in that problem and that they were trying to take responsibility and change. And I think rightly refocusing the message to say that whether you pay a referral fee or not and whether you take advantage of some of the loopholes really isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is the costs have been taken out of that referral fee. And you're going to have to get used to a new world where that revenue is not available to you. So I think the insurers being able to put their hand up and take responsibility was good. I'm not sure we heard that from the claimant side, although I don't think it was directly put to them.
I'm a big advocate on fighting fraud and trying to cut fraud out of the system, because I think fraudsters do nothing, only harm the good people and the innocent victims. But looking at the reform so far, I don't see that that's going to have a positive effect on fraud. I hope that I'm wrong, because there is less money in the system now and less legal costs to actually do your vetting and your risk assessments and so on. So I'm worried that there might be more. I think there's going to be a feeling to have a go, so put anything on the portal to see how it goes. And I heard somebody describe it recently as a nothing to lose culture. So I'd be very upset if that was the case, because if these reforms have all gone through and they've caused a lot of chaos and a lot of problems and possibly impacted on access to justice, I'd be horrified if fraud increases. Will the referral fee ban be successful? I think the jury's out on that. There seems to be people who are ignoring it. There seems to be legitimate ways around it. There are JV ABSs. I don't know. I think it was thrown into last sport at the last minute, I think because of Jack Straw. I think that it's chaos again, and I don't know whether that's going to work or have an effect. So in summary, I don't see loads of positive stuff at the moment, but I'm prepared to wait and see and reserve my position and see if it's going to improve. And I hope that it does, because it's caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. And if we don't achieve what it was set out to do, then that would be very sad for the industry. So,
James, only fair to let you respond to Donna's opening jab there. Is the consumer going to win from all these changes?
I think certainly that's the objective that the government's looking to achieve, and I think that's certainly what we are trying to achieve as an insurance industry. And just reflecting on the presentation Ian gave earlier, as an industry, as an insurance industry, we have taken a pretty long and hard look in the mirror at some of our own practices, and to use Ian's analogy, the reflection hasn't been pretty, and what we've been focused on is improving the trust that consumers have in us. I accept that consumers don't trust us, and part of that is some of the reputational own goals that, as an insurance industry, we have kicked. We got caught, I think, to use a phrase, with the hand in the cookie jar in relation to referral fees. But that is why we campaigned very vigorously for those to be banned. And I've said before, and I'll keep saying it, this is a claims industry. And the entire claims industry needs to clean its act up. Now, I entirely accept that the insurance industry is a part of that. The insurance industry has got much more work to do to improve its reputation and the practices within its own sector. But it's a cliched phrase, but we do have to work together to get this industry cleaned up, whether that's in credit hire, whether it's in repair, whether it's in personal injury. So it's a long way of getting to answer your question. I think if we get to that space, the consumer will be the winner. They'll get a fast, efficient, effective claims service, and they'll get cheaper car insurance premiums. And I don't think anyone's going to complain about that.
Well, I thought James's comment about there's a first mover disadvantage to changing the subrogation system in the UK was absolutely right. And the thing about this presentation has been, this conference has been, we've moved on from last year. Now nobody is disputing the fact that we need to change things. There's a disagreement on how we need to do it. And I think the fact that there's this first mover disadvantage means that it's very unlikely to happen with a big love-in of the industry. It's going to have to be regulated. And everybody wants the regulation so that they know, okay, now I can behave myself and everybody else is going to. So.
And I would love to know, in terms of subrogation, because there's all the arguments about, who's getting a special deal, that deal's not being passed on to the other insurer. I'm thinking back to the old days of knock-for-knock agreements, and I'm wondering, with all of the hassle that goes with it, actually 20 years on, or whatever it might be now, from when we scrapped knock-for-knock agreements, with all the arguments, with all the people, with all the litigation, actually, are we any better off from having scrapped those agreements?